Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Travel and Tourism Podcast, my first season. Very special guest today. Why special? Well, he's from Montreal, just like me. Very, very nice guy. He was a chief of sport and went on to be a leisure service manager. He's currently a hotel manager in Paris. And yes, we're going to talk about that as well. But his first season was in 1996 in Punta Cana as a boutique geo. Please help me welcome to the podcast, Steve Ouimet. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Greg. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to come on, sharing your very, very interesting story with us. Because as you know, I usually ask guests to supply me with a breakdown of the villages they worked, and you have some very interesting villages. And we noticed that the villages you worked at, a lot of them closed. So I don't know if this is a thing.
It's got nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. It's just it just happened.
Yeah, because I noticed you worked at Haiti. You worked at Club Med 1.
Yes.
Baradero.
Yes.
Crested Butte.
That's a curse.
Is Gerba La Douce still open? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's still open.
Okay, good.
That one's still open.
All right. So you know how we do. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said it survived. It survived my seasons.
So the curse is broken. Okay.
The curse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you did supply some good information. It was like growing up. So you said that you did a lot of dance and you were a singer in a rock group. Now, can I know the name of this rock group? Because I love the names.
It was called In Order.
In Order. Okay. So that's cool.
Not New Order, but In Order. It was at the time.
I love New Order.
Yeah.
Okay. In Order. Now, when did you know you could sing? Because a lot of us can't. So when did you know you could sing?
Oh, I sang when I was a kid. I have two brothers, two sisters, and we lived in a small apartment in Montreal with my mom. My dad died when I was very young, and I didn't have my own room for a while, so I was sleeping on a couch and a bed in the couch, and I would sleep with the radio on, and I would listen to American Top 40. You know that famous show
Casey
from
Kasem?
the United States. Yeah, Casey Kasem, you know him.
Yeah.
And I would listen to all the songs, and I would fall asleep with the music, and I would just remember the lyrics and sing, and I grew up singing that way. I just learned all the songs from everything.
Now, what were the main songs you sang in the group In Order? What kind of rock was it? What did you cover?
It was like it was the 80s. You got to keep that in mind.
Okay.
We were singing like In Excess type of rock, and we were writing songs basically.
Oh, really?
It sounded a little bit like it's rock, but with a little pop bass, and like it was a jazz drummer with a almost dance pop bass and heavy guitar. That was the mix. Yeah.
And you played guitar as well?
A little bit. I learned because
Okay.
I wasn't happy with some of the writings, and I would pick up the guitar and I said, I can do that, and I learned a few chords enough to write a song or two, and that was fun.
What sports did you play growing up?
Not that many, actually. I played a little bit of hockey, of course, when I was young. I didn't do a lot of sports. I took up dancing. I did jazz, classical, and tap dance, believe it or not.
Wow, the choreographers must have loved you, boy, when you showed up, right?
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I was too shy. I didn't want to be the one that I know how to do that, and put myself forward. But it was kind of easy sometimes, like learning the choreography. That was definitely a big help in Club Med. But I never said anything to anybody. I never said, I know how to do this and that, and I just wanted to keep, I was shy.
That's smart. No, that's smart. I just pretended I didn't know how as the years went on, but they were never fooled, really, I guess.
Yeah. So I learned from your interview. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay. So I guess you were working in Montreal. Now, how did you find out about like Club Med, or the first time you heard about Club Med? How did you know about it?
I was 18 years old at the time, and I was working in a movie theater. I was a usher, but that's what you call them. People, but I don't think they have those anymore. But I would sit people, and I saved enough money, and I said, okay, well, I want to go on vacation somewhere. And I went to the travel agency and I said, well, listen, I'm 18 years old and I want to go to a place and I don't want to have to worry about food and that sort of thing. And she said, well, there's this thing called Club Med and I think it'd be great for you. You're young, you can do a lot of sports, you can do a lot of different things. And I said, oh, sure, why not? So I went to Club Med on vacation for 1 week and that was Club Med Cancun actually.
Oh, wow.
Way back when. Yeah.
Like
Way back when.
what year around? So if you started in 96, what year would you have gone on vacation?
I was 18, so I have to count, but
Early, I guess early 90s, right?
Before that.
Okay.
Way before that.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the 80s, back then you used to share the room. I was sharing my room with an American guy who was a tennisman who would get up at 5 in the morning and go jogging and do a lot of sports, but by 8, he didn't drink any alcohol. By 8, he'd be in bed and that sort of thing. And that was unusual because we didn't have the same schedule.
Do you remember who the chief of village was at all, or no?
No, I don't remember at all. So I remember some buff guy in a pareo, blonde hair, and I don't remember who that was.
Okay. Now, so how many years passed between, like, I don't know if at the time you said, hey, I want to work here, but how many years passed from the time that you went on vacation to applying to Club Med?
10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then what
10 years, because I always kept it in the back of my mind, because when I left the club, like I was a GM and I was part of everything. Like, I remember the Olympics, I did the Olympics, I did the sandcastle contest and everything. And, you become one of those the GMs that everybody knows in the village. And I was very shy, very skinny, and very awkward at the time. And I remember the GO said, why don't you come and work? And I said, nah, I said, I didn't think I could do it. I said, nah. But I kept it in the back of my mind. And eventually I thought about it when I saw that they were recruiting about 10 years later. And I said, yeah, let's give it a shot.
Now, did you have your interview in Montreal?
Yes, I had my interview in Montreal. Yes, I think it was in a Sheraton hotel or something like that. I don't exactly remember much of it, but
Oh, so you don't know if they made you tell a joke or do crazy signs on stage? Or
nothing like that. No, I remember they just interviewed me and checked my background and I fit the part. I think at the time I just finished my rock band period. I had long hair, but I cut it like kind of short, even very trendy, blonde. And they said, "Oh, you would fit in. You would fit in somewhere." And I don't know. Just basic interview. I remember that they didn't make me dance or do anything special. There was a lot of people. That's all I remember. And I was applying, mind you, for a boutique at the time. So guys at the boutique, there wasn't that many. So that was maybe something that attracted them to say, oh, we'll put this guy in the boutique.
Was that because like me, were you just basically happy to do any job just to get in? Because I was kind of like that when I applied. I didn't really care where they put me. Is that why you applied that way?
No, not actually, because I was working in Montreal while I was in a rock band and all. You got to pay for rentals, for equipment, for everything. And I was living in downtown Montreal, hanging out at bars and working during the day as a boutique manager. I opened a boutique, maybe name it, not name it, but neon stores on St. Catherine Street, and I opened boutique for him and for the guy that ran this place. I became a really, really good salesman and manager, and opened a boutique in Kingston, and I was sort of I took it to the level where there was nothing much more for me to do with that. And I said, okay, and basically I was, when you're in Montreal and you do that, and I would see the same 10 people all the time. You get up in the morning, it's like the routine, you get up, you have your breakfast, I would stop at the Starbucks, see the same person there, buy my coffee, go to work, finish my work, see the same 10 people. And I was like, there's got to be more to it than just these 10 people. The world is so big. And that's when I got the idea. I said, I'll sell all my stuff and I'll just go and travel. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm doing it. And I applied for Club Med and they called me.
Now, yeah. So how much time elapsed from your interview to they called you?
Not too long, actually, maybe a couple of weeks. a couple of
Okay.
weeks or
So
something. And they
they
said,
call
you know,
you, tell you you're going to Punta Cana.
yep,
Chief of village is Philippe
uh,
Fournier.
Philippe Fournier, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So what do you
And
remember?
Masha,
What do you remember
Masha
about?
was his wife.
Oh yeah, that's right. What do you remember about arriving? Do you remember anything about arriving that first week?
The arrival, not so much. I was lost. I was lost in really when I said, "Wow, what a beautiful place! It's stunning." You know, when you get there and you've never. Well, I'd been to Cancun, and I said, "Okay, this is different. This is wow." And the ocean, I was like, "I want to see the ocean. I want to see the ocean." And being from Montreal with the snow, I want to see the ocean. Where's the ocean?
That's
And
right.
I saw it, and it was like so beautiful. It was just stunning. And I said, okay, well, and I figured I got to work at the boutique, fine, because that's what I do. I started reorganizing everything the way they work because they were not used to merchandising and that sort of thing. And I brought in a lot that made this boutique work and worked really well with Masha and got along with Philippe. It was the first season that I remember. I remember my first week I was in everything because you know they gave you the famous programs where
Yeah.
you have to
Yes.
you know
Yes.
the programs
You
that
mentioned that you thought like you had to be every. This is hilarious because you thought you had to be
yeah.
everywhere, right? Like.
I had no idea. Nobody told me. So I was like, okay, you see 9 o'clock volleyball. So if I wasn't working, I said, I got to be at 9 o'clock volleyball. I didn't know how to play volleyball. And honestly, I went, I joined in, and people were like, okay, come on in, you can play, you know, and then I learned. And after that, okay, there's that, and there's everything that was written on a program I would do. And I just after maybe 10 days or so, I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted. I was like, this is going to kill me. I said, I'm never going to be able to do this. I got to quit. I got to go back. And eventually you learn that you don't have, somebody told me, I think, no, you don't have, I think it was Leslie Westbrook, an archery geo, that told me, she says, no, you don't have to be at everything all the time. You just do your job. And then every once in a while, if you want, you have spare time and you want to go and participate in certain things, you can. There you go. And you don't have to be everywhere all the time. And I started, you know, taking time for myself to rest a little bit and it went all better. And it was like, oh, this is enjoyable. This is great, actually. And, but I got used to being around people and being around the GMs and I liked reading the program and just maybe I'm crazy, just going to volleyballs and pétanque or whatever else, you know, tournament they had.
Well, they probably
And
thought you were a super geo because normally like a sports land sports person would be doing all this. So did everyone think like, wow, this is a first season geo? He's everywhere. Did anyone say that to you?
yeah, actually, that's what happened. You know what? That's what happened. I was in I was at Philippe Fournier and Masha was like, she would put me in everything because I became very popular and I was sort of the extra member of the sports team in a way. You hang out with the people from the sports team and not so much with the boutique show, and you hang out with all the other people in the village, all the other geos, and you become very popular. And they say, wow, this guy, he's in everything, and that's where then they started to put me in the shows and different things where you had we'll put one boutique geo for this at night, and guess what? That's gonna be me. So I ended up in a lot of things, and I don't regret. It was you got to put yourself in danger. You got to put yourself out on the line, and then you learn things. You know, one thing in particular in Club Med is to dress up as a woman because they make, I don't know why, it's a Club Med thing. You got to dress up as a woman if you're a guy at one point or another, you know. And they made me do ABBA sketches, and it was funny.
Oh, I love
I
that.
was a girl.
Oh no, I did too, but I got
Yeah.
tired of I had to do that too, but I didn't like the fact that they always like put like really really mascara on our cheeks. I said no, if I'm going to be a woman,
Yeah.
I want to be the most beautiful woman. Don't make me up
Exactly.
like a guy like the
Exactly.
clown. I don't want the clown makeup. Make me pretty.
Yeah.
I would demand it, and then we would be fighting over the best dresses backstage. All the guys.
Yeah, and those fishnets, Greg. I'm
Oh,
sure you look good in those fishnets.
I hate fishnets. Oh God.
I
I
put
gotta.
those on, and I had better legs than some of the girls. They were kind of jealous, because I'm really tall. So they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wish I had your legs." I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how long were you at Punta Cana? Was it a 6 month season for you?
Yeah, that was at the time they were 6 month seasons. Yes.
Okay. Any
So
funny, appropriate stories happened to you like during that first season? Did you make any other than the mistake about showing up at every activity, which is just
uh,
still funny? Do you have anything else happen? Interesting.
interesting. In no, basically the first season I was just discovering, so I didn't have
Okay.
any super funny stories that happened later on in Club
Okay.
Med.
Well,
As I got used to the villages and the village life. But Punta Cana, I was just finding my way around, and I remember there was also another Canadian guy. I can't put my name on him. It's a name on him is when we showed up. He was a circus Geo, played the guitar, and I brought my guitar as well when I was in Club Med. So, and we would just sometimes spend the evening on the beach playing guitar with GMs and all. And we became really good friends, and we would go to the restaurants, and it was, Club Med, it's a buffet. So we would take like 3 full plates of food, and him and me all the time. And the chief said, "Whoa, they don't feed you in Canada? What's going on? How come you eat so much and you stay so thin? It's crazy." And yeah, I enjoyed it very much. The first season, the buffet were really good. Yeah,
Now I see, yeah, you go to Magic Isle, Haiti. If
yeah.
I can just focus, yeah, briefly on your positive, I guess, memories of that place, because I always hear it described as beautiful, right? That resort.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful resort I've ever been to. I mean, I think I still have memory flashes of looking through my room. I had a room that was like a GM's room, and I had a view on the ocean, and it was just it's got a different feel to it. Like even the sunsets look different, and you have the water and the flying fish, and just like your story where you went surfing on the Red River, there was just there's just something special. That's why they called it Magic IT, I guess. It's just magic. There was something magical about this place.
Okay. Now, again, so you're still in boutique. So, but at one point, like, are you learning how to sail during this time, or like on your spare time? Are you learning how to sail yet?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Okay.
Nope.
We'll save
No.
that for Cuba, because I noticed in Cuba you're doing two
Yeah.
jobs. Okay. So
Yeah.
so in 98, 99, you go to Verodero, Cuba. All right. What's that like? Because we've only had really one person on that worked at Verodero. So the guests there, now you're Canadian, so you're allowed to go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Were there any American GMs there?
American geos, no.
No.
No, there were
Okay.
a lot of Canadian geo and lots of locals, Cubans. Greg, who became my brother, he's a brother of mine, and Giovanni and all these people that I work with over there. It just became like family, and it's a beautiful resort. I learned how to sail over there, and what made it really special was the chief of village. Chief of
Oh,
village was Oreo Stern.
yes. Yeah, I hear a
If you
lot
know
of.
him,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
heard of him. Yeah, very nice guy. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away, but this guy was like it was something else. He was
I,
something else.
I heard he was,
He
yeah,
was
like the
just
life of the party and energetic, right?
energetic, the life of a party. He taught me kindness, how to be. He was like a father at some point. We even had a difficult talk where, because at one point he said, he sat me in the theater after the show. He says, "I want to talk to you," and he opened his heart out to me, and he talked to me as a person and said, "You could do so much better. You could do this, you could do that. I wish you'd work on this and that, and take the mic and do different things. And I see so much potential in you." And he was just an awesome individual, and he liked people. He genuinely liked people. He was respected by locals, by everybody. He's just an outstanding individual. It's one of those person that they're like a flying star. They just go through your life, and it's just light. He's just amazing, and yeah, I miss him very much.
Was 98, 99 the opening, or no? This was not the opening of the
No,
resort.
this was not the opening. No, no, no.
Okay. Okay.
He,
I've heard rumors about this village. Like there's so much swirling around now. Is it true? Or when you were there, did you hear about anyone like you weren't allowed to talk bad about the president of Cuba at the time, and that I heard
okay.
there was
You
plain
want the truth?
clothes. Well, yeah, without
Yeah,
naming
I can tell you the truth.
without naming names,
You're
did you
not
hit?
ready for the truth.
Okay, yeah,
Actually,
you can't handle the truth. Okay.
you can't handle the truth. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Over there it's a gaviota. Gaviota is it's Spanish for seagull, I guess. And there's this nice seagull in the sinking sun. That's the logo. And gaviota was actually Club Med can't own the place over there, so they just sort of rented it out and under the supervision of Gaviota. And Gaviota, what really Gaviota is the Cuban army without the uniform, and they were just wearing a tie and a t-shirt. And the chief of village, it was like two chiefs, the chief of Gaviota and the chief of village. And the chief of village was, okay, you manage your people, you do your thing, but for anything that has to do with spending money or food or arrival and all, it's all handled by Gaviota. That part is handled by the army. And there were cameras, unusually, by the pool. So I don't know if they were looking at people, but there was just, and I hung around with the geos and I talked a lot with them and they said, well, you can't say anything bad about the government or anything like that because you might get in trouble. And I've never seen personally somebody get in trouble for anything like that while I was there. But I know there was a lot of surveillance. And they were going to make sure also at the beach that we had we had to tie the boat, the security boat, the motor, and put it away, take it apart, and put it in a box with a big lock, so people would come and steal it and try to go to the United States at night.
Wait a minute! You're saying you had to remove this every day at the end of the day?
Every day, yeah.
Oh my God! Okay.
Every day we had to remove it, put it in a big case.
How long did that take? Half an hour?
We only had a Zodiac, so it's pretty much clipped on. You know what I mean? Like you gotta clip it on, unclip it, but you gotta rinse it. We had a guy named Barracuda, was a local, and Barracuda was on the beach, and he would take care of that with us, but we would help him because this is quite heavy, and put it in the box and then put the lock on it. So it's and then in the morning you have to put it back on.
So
and it was just extra work.
And you were dividing your time between the boutique and sailing, right? So I guess Cuba is where you officially learned how to sail?
Yeah, that's where I learned. I learned everything when I was there.
Okay.
I moved, like I said, Oreo saw a lot of potential in me. I was at the boutique, but he would do like these things, these crazy signs, Brazilian crazy signs for a half an hour or something, or 40 minutes, under the sun and all. It was just crazy. And I was I said, you know what? I'll follow him anywhere because he's got such charisma. And I would be with him, next to him on stage and doing it. And he says, I see you, you should be next season. You come back, because I stayed 2 seasons. And he said, come back, you're going to be sailing. I'm going to put you at sailing. I said, but I don't know how to sail. I can barely swim. I don't care. You're going to be at sailing. I said, okay. So what I did is I took back then we didn't have internet so much. I took one of the books from Obi Katz that I found in a sailing shack. And I learned every piece of equipment, like what it's used for, how it's the rudder. This is the rudder. It's attached to this bar. That's called that. And the sail, it's called that. And, and all the terms. And I learned how to sail from that book. And from also, I had an awesome chief of sailing. His name was Stéphane, a French guy. And Greg was working. Greg was he's a Greek sculptor, tall guy, Cuban.
Yes.
Very muscular. It's just all the women would go wow when they saw him, and always in a speedo. But
yeah.
And
well, he pulls it off, right, Greg? I mean,
he pulls it off. I mean, when you have that body, you pull it off. You can pull it. And Greg was
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, Greg was working with me at the beach, and I learned how to sail. At first, I was doing also Pepe. I don't know if you know Pepe.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's a Mexican and a older guy, and he awesome geo, and he taught me a lot. And we would just have crazy days. And at first I would just take people for rides. And I quickly learned how to sail, and I realized that I became really, really, really good at it. And I sailed in storms and all kinds of weather in Cuba. And I was giving lessons, and you got to be careful because the beach is in between two cliffs, like rocks, huge rocks, cliffs. And if you don't if you don't, you're not careful when you're coming back, you might drift towards those cliffs and just crash the boat. And yeah, no, that never happened. But yeah, I got scared a couple of times.
Well, speaking of scared, and you mentioned earlier you would follow Oreo Stern anywhere, and you did. You followed him jumping out of a perfectly good airplane in Varadero, right? So, is this
Yes,
the first time you went skydiving?
yes.
So, okay,
'Cause,
so how did you like? Because I've gone skydiving, so I think skydiving is really a mind thing. It messes with your mind. So, were you nervous right up until the moment you had to jump, or were you just nervous all the way?
that was actually my second time. One time I
Oh,
did it. I
okay.
was when I was in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I was hanging out with some friends that worked in a bar, and we closed the bar at 6 a.m. We were really drunk, and they said, "Oh, let's go skydiving." I said, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And we got to some school that were they teach you in the morning, and in the afternoon you go and you jump. And there's nobody with you. You just have like a little radio attached to your equipment, and
Teach
they tell
you?
you.
Wait a minute.
And they say this.
Teach you? I
Sorry?
got like a 2 minute speech, and then let's go. Okay, so you
Oh
actually
no
had
no
to.
they no they teach you, but you go alone. They say, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that, pull on this, pull on that, pull
Oh,
left, right,
okay,
whatever.
okay.
And one of the guys actually from the bar broke his leg landing,
Oh, ouch.
and that was my first time. That was way back in Montreal. But after that, when I got there, Ariel said, I'm doing a crazy sign, and on the beach, there's this Brazilian party going on right before lunch, and he puts on like again an hour of crazy signs of Brazilian music, and he takes out the fire hose and he waters people, and there's mud, and it's just crazy. And of course, there's some drinks and all, and in the middle of that, there's a target. And what happens is that somebody would be on the mic. I don't remember exactly who, and then Oreo would land from the sky right on the target on the beach for the party and start the party and all. And at one point he says, "You're coming with me. We're going to do this." And I'm like, "Sure, sure, crazy enough. I'll do it." And we went to this place, this airport, and this is an old Russian plane. We're talking. It smells like gasoline. It smells like it's. I'm not even sure if it was. If this was going to take off or not.
Yeah. So
And we're in it.
every sign is telling you
Yeah,
not to do this, right? Okay.
exactly. And I'm in there, and Oreo stayed, and he said, "Okay, I'll be waiting for you down there. You just follow what the guy tells you, and you'll be fine." And I said, "Okay." And at one point, you realize when you're up there that you're actually wondering if it's not safer just to jump because this thing's gonna crash. It's this is
Yeah.
an old Russian plane from the Cold War. I don't know exactly where it's from. And I said, okay. And at one point, the guy says, "Okay, you jump." And I go out there, and every fiber of your body tells you not to let go of the plane, because you got to climb out first so you don't hit the propeller, I guess, or I don't know exactly. And then on the wing of the plane, and then hang on, and then let your feet go. And then after that, when it tells you, you let go. And interesting enough, is that everything looks so small. It looks like a maquette. It looks like it doesn't look real. You're up there, and the island itself, the colors of you see Cuba, the colors of Cuba, the water and all, it didn't look real. And there's a lot of golf courses. It didn't look real at all. It looked until you get closer and closer and closer, and then you start seeing cars moving and people moving, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I see where I'm at." And then you got to land on that target. I landed close to the target, and I didn't break anything, and that was amazing. That was a great
Nice.
experience, but scary. Like I said, you got to come out. You gotta come out of your comfort zone and just try new things. I've always been, "Oh, sure, I'll do it."
That's right.
Stupid me.
So, Steve, I see by your list here, you worked in Cancun, so you must have crossed paths with Uncle Larry. Can I have your favorite Uncle Larry story?
Yes, when I was working in Cancun, I met this specimen, Uncle Larry, and with his cowboy hat and boots. And I remember because Hammer was the chief of village, fantastic, just outstanding chief of village. And strangely enough, he was friends with Oreo. But anyways, Hammer told me, he says, "Okay, well, we're gonna do a GM show, Steve. We're gonna do a GM show, but please, just be careful for Uncle Larry. I don't want anything, I don't want any problem with him. So please." I said, "Okay, sure, I'll take Uncle Larry." And then And we did this skit where I start singing. Since I sang, it was a good thing. I would sing Yesterday from the Beatles and just pre-recorded with a bow tie and a jacket and all. And then somebody would come, that skit from backstage and say, hey, see, you got my jacket. And then he would rip off the jacket, and then the other one comes afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
And then takes off the shirt, the pants, and you're left with a bow tie in your underwear. And then I had Uncle Larry, of course, with the towel around his hips. And normally, what happens is that he goes, Steve, and you go, oh no, and then you run off stage, and then it goes black, all the lights. Sort of let go of the towel a little early, let's just say, for that one. And we got a lot of complaints. So the next day, Hammer says, "Come to my office." Okay, what's going on? And he says, "Yeah, well, that can happen." I said, "Yeah." He says, "I got people complaining because they saw Uncle Larry." I said, "Yeah, I understand. But you can't control the guy." And
no.
He was just a character. And he came in and he apologized, bought me shots and drinks. I'm so sorry, and felt sorry for it. But if he was going to do it the next day, he would have done it again.
Well, also in that same resort, Hammer started a band, right? And you were lead singer. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Hammer, I heard Hammer was just outstanding because I remember when I showed up for sailing, and sailing wasn't open because we didn't have a permit in Cancun. I think he was in the process of getting it, and he was working with the Mexican authority. He says, "Meanwhile, we're going to create this thing called it's going to be the animation squad, guys, and I'm going to have a bunch of people, and you're going to do animation because we don't have an animator, and everybody's in charge. Animators should not be a position; it should be everybody's business." And he was very smart. I really liked his way of thinking, and I said, "Oh, this is good." And he says, "Also, I'm going to create a band because anybody plays instruments." So I had one guy who played the guitar, and I had Patrick, who was a sound engineer from Montreal, and he actually works for Cirque du Soleil now. Amazing guy, and he played the bass really well. And we said, "Okay, let's rehearse, see what we can come up with," and we came up with a set of songs, and we rehearsed a little bit backstage, and it was just crazy. We would play those songs around the bar at happy hour, and you've never seen a crowd going crazy like this, and it was just like dancing. We had this was in 2000, so we had Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Californication and that sort of thing. We would sing that around the bar, and they were recent songs. And of course, I threw in for Hammer because he liked it. Brown Eyed Girl, he really liked that song from Van Morrison, so I would sing that and lots of different songs. It was just a great time, and we were like rock stars for a minute, at Club Med.
All right, let's go back a bit because I think you're one of the only GOs I've had on that worked aboard the Club Med 1. So you were there in 98. Now, when I was starting, I always said, I don't want to go to Sandpiper and I don't want to go on the boat. However, in 1999, it's cheapest sport in Bodrum, Turkey. It was in port. We went aboard now, and I totally changed my mind. So did you not mind going aboard the Club Med 1, or you really wanted to go aboard it?
Back then, I was a boutique GO. Boutique GO, I figured, okay, on the boat, why not? There's a boutique, I'll go on the boutique. And it's like a duty-free boutique. So, which means when you get to a port, you have the local authorities coming on board, and they put a seal on the door. You cannot open, you cannot sell anything. So I can't work. So I couldn't do anything. So they figured, okay, you're going to do something else. So you're going to help out with other things, or you just have time off and you go and visit. So I spend most of my time visiting the islands. And
now you say islands. So was this a Caribbean route?
Yeah, the Caribbean route, and then we crossed the Atlantic. I did cross Atlantic. I came to Europe. I did the European route, and then we crossed the Atlantic again. We even at one point the boat was rented out by a company, an insurance company, and it was empty, so we sailed empty, and we went to get all these people because they rented the boat for a special anniversary. We sailed to Panama to go and get them, and they came on board, and they had the party and all, and we were in charge of regular animation and all on the boat, and visiting the islands with them. And I remember because at one point that was when the Montserrat, there was an island,
volcano?
And the volcano erupted. And at the same time, they rented the boat because also there was an eclipse.
Wow.
a
Okay.
solar eclipse. So we had the solar eclipse, and the only thing you could see on the ocean was the little red line coming out of the volcano of lava. And it was just one of those moments in time, like where you're like, wow, I'm here. I'm here to witness this. This is just amazing.
Well, you mentioned
Yeah.
Panama. Did the boat have to go through the canal at all or no?
Yes, yes, we did.
How long does that take to go through, roughly?
Oof, I don't remember. I don't remember
Okay.
going through the canal so much.
Oh, okay.
We had a storm. We had different things on the boats. Which
Well,
we were in
you
March.
also crossed paths with the Club Med too. Is that correct? Like you
Yeah,
crossed in the
yeah.
how that must be cool, no?
You got your information right.
Yeah.
Yes, we got the Club Med 1 and Club Med 2 met at one point because Club Med 2 was taking over the route from the Caribbean and Club Med 1 was going to Europe because it was going to be sold. Like most of my villages,
Yeah.
it was closing, and we were going back to Europe. So we crossed that, and we were, I think, in Barbados, and both ships were at the dock, and we got a picture taken with both crews on the dock. And I crazy enough, I went out there with the security boat with the people and I took some pictures of the two boats sailing together. They were, well, we're not supposed to say it probably, but they were racing
Okay.
at one point just to on the ocean, and yeah, it was it turned out to be an amazing picture. And I sent it they put it on the cover of the Geo magazine because they asked me for it at one point. It was a
Oh,
picture I took.
nice.
And
And
yeah,
you
yeah, it was just really, really, really nice, and the great memories from that, and the boat was just something else.
all right.
It's not like a regular Club Med village, but what was nice is that from my experience working at Club Med in the other village, I wanted to get involved, so I started doing excursion, and I was a guide to certain islands with people just translating from English to French for the French GM. So I would just be the translator, and I did the helicopter as well. That was in Barbados, and I would be flying in a helicopter in the front, and you had like 4 or 5 GMs in the back, and I would be translating what the guy was saying. And I suspect the guy was drunk a couple of times
Okay.
who flew the helicopter in Barbados. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
All right, let's
Yeah.
jump to chief of sport. So at one point you
Yes.
want to be a chief of sport. Do you have any, was there a chief of village that had to back you at all, so to speak? Or no, you just said I want to do the chief of sport and someone in Paris said, okay. Now, did you do an official stage?
For chief of sports, no stage. No,
No
no stage was
stage?
needed. No stage
Okay.
for chief of sports. So I didn't do much. I became a land sports geo at one point because you have to do that in
Yeah.
order. That was the
Yeah.
route to become. And I was working with Red and Boone. Can you?
Oh boy. Okay.
So, no, it was just yeah, yeah. Those were crazy seasons. We had an amazing team. We had
Which season was this with Red and Boone? Was it Cancun?
that was in Cancun. Yeah,
Cancun. Okay.
Cancun with Red, Boone, Scott Smith. You name it.
Okay.
All these people.
I can't ask you for any stories with those characters. But were they not doing a chief of sports stage at the time? Because that's pretty rare that you don't have to do one, right?
Yeah, I've never done one, so I don't know. I just naturally became a chief of sports
No,
when I was
I
in.
think that's the way it should be, because as much as fun
Yeah,
as I had on mine, I can't, I didn't learn really anything. You learn more on the job. So,
yeah.
I mean, other than a nice trip to Opio, I mean, which you didn't get, you know,
No, I didn't get that.
okay, but that's good because you already knew the job, you were doing the job. And
Yeah,
yeah, so then the Punta Cana, you kind of did chief of sailing, chief of sports, right? And then
that's right.
officially your first village was Paradise Island, right? Like chief of sports, where that's the only job you were doing, right?
The only job I was doing, yeah. I became under Youssef Dari,
Mm-hmm.
not a great gentleman. I crossed some amazing people. I tell you, now that we're talking, I'm just remembering all the names of all the people, and I'm like, wow, those are amazing people. And the Youssef said, okay, you got promoted. I got a letter saying I was chief of sports, and I became chief of sports. In Paradise Island, I was with Karim Farge, and I was doing chief of sports, and it's hard because you learn how to manage people for me, I felt like an imposter. You ever had that feeling where you feel like you're not up for the job, sort of. Like I was a boutique geo for crying out loud. I didn't do much sports before. I'm chief of sports, and I'm in charge of organizing things that had to do with sports related events, but a lot of it has to do with presenting shows and helping becoming the assistant chief of village, sort of. And I quickly realized that those were my strong points as well. So
yeah, and also making sure your geos are in their activities and you don't have to cover for them for 2 hours in circus. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like you have some interesting stories there.
Oh yeah. But I'm here for your stories now. Yeah. Okay, so from '96 to 2005, you're a guy from Montreal. I'm sure you're like me. You don't like winter. You love summer. That whole time you're in the summer, and boom, you go to Crested Butte. Now, did you request Crested Butte, or is it because you went to switch to leisure manager?
I wanted to switch to leisure manager. I was working like they have stash, but they send you for a couple of weeks, but they don't say anything. They say okay.
Okay, wait. So you did do a stash for leisure manager.
For leisure manager, yeah, but not for chief of sports.
Where in France was that?
In Vitel.
So
they were crazy ways to send you there, because I remember I was in the Bahamas with what was his name? Jesus, sorry, I missed. You're probably gonna hear this and say.
Well, Karim was the chief in Paradise. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, with Karim, but there was another geo that became also Nicolas Guerra.
Okay.
And Nicholas was sent with me, so we were traveling together all the time. So when we go from the village in the Bahamas to Nassau to Miami, spend the night in Miami, from Miami to New York all the way to Paris, then take the train, go to Vitel for the formation. So that was just crazy travel.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Let's go the long way instead. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they were using air miles or something, and that they got free tickets, and that's how they managed to travel. So yeah, that was pretty extensive. And staying in detail, I learned about the French culture a lot, and I liked it quite a bit. And
did your accent change at all at any point over the years?
Well, it's changed now. Yeah, my English is not as
well. Yeah. Now you live in Paris, but yeah. No, I'm saying like when you were speaking with French, did your Quebecois accent ever change to French at all?
It's always there.
Okay, it's always there. All right, now you get to Crested. Were you like, oh no, winter, snow, or are you like, at least I can snowboard?
I don't ski. I figured, I didn't know how to sail, and I went I became chief of sailing at one point. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, okay, I can't ski. Maybe I'll become chief of skiing. I don't know. And no, I was a leisure management, and I had to oversee. That's when they teach you about the business part as well, as to the ski rental, the ski school has to make a certain amount of money a year, and you're in charge of the budgets and all. So, it's like the higher I got in this in the company, the further away I got from what I really like, which is being with the people and being a GO. The business side of it was less enjoyable, and when I was, it's not my best season when I was there. The chief of village was Joey Templin. Amazing chief. It's so kind, so nice. And but I learned a lot. I learned so much over there about the business part, how it worked, and we had some amazing times as well, and memories. And the geo team, it's a different type of team. You manage people that are ski instructors, certified ski instructors from France. You know what I mean? You can't teach them anything. So you gotta approach it differently if you want to manage these people. You gotta say, okay, well, I'm here. Teach me, show me, and yeah, and they did, and they were very, very kind to me. So,
okay, let's take a funny story break, because I understand you have a Norm story, Norm Siegel.
Yeah, Norm Siegel.
I've never heard this one, so this is appropriate.
Norm,
you told me, right?
Okay. Oh, Norm, a bunch of stories with Norm. He became a real friend.
Well, give me your best one with Norm.
Well, Norm, it's not so much a funny story, but it's just a conversation I had with him.
Okay.
Where Norm was at one point I was doing land sports. I was in Cancun, and we would play volleyball, pool volleyball, and I love to win pool volleyball, because the way I would do it is that people would have drinks, put it on the side of a pool, and then we go stop, let's go have a drink. Okay, then take a sip, and then okay, we go back. And everybody before they serve had to say their name or something, and would create like a fun. Okay, say your name and where you're from. Say your name and something funny or what you like, and they would then they would serve, and everybody would be laughing, and at the end it was just crazy. And those pool volleyball games, I got a lot of people, a lot of people in that pool, and Norm was enjoying it a lot. And Norm was staying 2 weeks, as he usually does in Club Med. He stays a couple of weeks. And at one point, at the end of the week, he came to see me and he says, "Okay, he says, this week you're doing volleyball. Let's go, let's do it again." And I said, "I tried, but there was nobody, and there was nobody in the pool." And Norm was like, "Oh well, disappointed." He says, "How come? I don't understand." I said, "Norm, that's the thing about when you're a geo. Is never 2 weeks are the same, and you can't try to recreate the previous week. It's different people. You got to enjoy the people that are here this week that are different from the people that were here last week, and they're just moments in time. Enjoy them while you have them with those people, but you got to move on to the next week with other people and mingle." And he did, and he finally came around and met other people and made new friends, and the magic worked. And that was just one of the amazing stories. And as I was explaining this to him, I was realizing this as well, and that was a breakthrough moment for me.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And in 2006, you go to my favorite place in the world, where Club Med sent me 3 times for 2.5 years, Columbus Isle, Bahamas. So I guess other than the boat, were these the nicest geo rooms you ever had? Because or chief of service room, I guess. Because now you're
Columbus. There were nice rooms. They were very humid, but yeah, very very nice. The place is so beautiful. Yeah. And right by my room, I don't know if you got that since you went there 3 times. But there's the birds at one point are nesting, and when they're nesting, they protect their nest. They're up in the palm trees.
Oh yes, yes.
They attack your hair.
Yes, yeah, they do. The
and you have to defend yourself with the towel.
Yes. Well, we were at the Sea Center, and I would get GMs to watch because geos would come from the room past that. There used to be a barn or something where archery is now, I guess. And some of the geos didn't know what was about to happen, so we'd be drinking and just watching the bird swoop down. I used to carry a basketball trying to when he dove for me, but they're smart.
And you're proud of that? You're proud of that, Greg?
Yes, I never. The ball was just to not have it attack me, but they would go down to the horizon so you couldn't see them. They're very smart. And then they would hug the horizon and come right at your forehead. And a few geos got picked right in the forehead. So
I got picked in my head going back to my room all the time. And they were just
oh really?
Because they're nesting, yeah. And I would have to carry a towel and go like do the whip thing with the towel to try to get them. And I did get one. I hit one once, but it's just
it's a towel, right?
Crazy, yeah, with the towel. Because they were attacking your hair with the claws. The claws. You can feel them in your head. They're like they're very vicious.
Yeah. And if not, you're in the pool, and the iguanas go for a swim in the pool, and then I don't know if Jean-Paul still had his chickens by the Sea Center when you were there, but
no.
Okay.
No, we didn't have that.
All right, then you go to sorry, go ahead.
Djerba La Douce afterwards.
Yeah. Where is that? Is that in Tunisia?
That's in Tunisia. Yeah.
Okay. What was that like?
That was very different from everything I knew. That's the thing about Club Med, and that's why I remember what I told Norm is that also for me it applies to me as well. It's like different seasons for different people, and going to different places, and you can't expect your season in Djerba La Douce to be like your season in Cancun with the crazy people I had. It's just you got to embrace the culture and the people that were there, and I did. I made a lot of friends when I was there, and it's just a beautiful village. And we're at the point. Oh yeah, that was the renovation, because they decided to, obviously some of the village I worked at closed because they sold them, and they decided to reinvest on certain village that they were going to keep, and then build new ones that were 4 stars and up. That was during that period. And they built in the middle of the village this brand new park, very modern, very luxurious rooms and all. And then on the other end of you have the old houses from Club Med from way back in the 70s, and they just painted them blue and white and made them a little nicer. And it was just it was hard, like being in the middle of that, because you gotta deal with both, like the past Club Med and the new Club Med. And that was really funny because I remember we were opening that part in the middle, the hotel, very nice, luxurious, and then they had just finished building it, and yet Henri Giscard d'Estaing was coming, and with also the one of the presidents of Tunisia, tourism president, I don't know what, was coming, and then we had to order like camels and people playing music, local music, it was a big fiesta, and then we're wondering where's Henri, Henri was out late the previous night. He showed up. He's amazing because Henri Giscard d'Estaing showed up with a polo that was wrinkled, with a jacket over it, and no socks and shoes, and he hit it like a king. He was like, "Hi, welcome. I'm Henri Giscard d'Estaing." Blah blah blah, and his voice is just wow. He takes it away, right away. And he met with and we were supposed to have them visit 3 of the new rooms. And at one point, as we're doing it, I'm opening the doors, and I go to one of the rooms they're supposed to visit, and there's one of the pipes that broke, and there's black water coming out in the room. And I'm like, we're not going to visit that one. We're going to move on to the next one. And it was just funny. It was just it's a sketch. Yeah, that was a funny story as well in that village in Gerbaladou. But amazing beach and people, and it was just so peaceful and quiet. And in the morning, sometimes from my room, you would hear like the prayers, the morning prayers, the call for the morning prayers. You hear them from afar, and it wakes me up in the morning, and it's so exotic. You're over there, and it's just forget everything and just absorb it. It's just a really nice village.
So tell me, Steve, did you ever come across like groups like Olivia or Atlantis while you were working in Club Med?
Yes, when I was in Club Med Cancun, we did Olivia when I was in Columbus, and we did actually Atlantis when I was in Cancun.
Okay.
And those were like some of the most fun weeks we've ever had. We had Boone, we had everybody, Scott Smith, you name it, between those weeks, and Fitin. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, amazing guy. And he organized. He says, guys. And he's just a crowd gatherer, and he wants to do things. And he's like, guys. He convinced the whole team to do a striptease. All the guys on stage. So we were there with black hat, bow ties, and black pants that we would rip off, and just be in our underwear and whatever on stage for a group of Atlantis. And they really, really enjoyed it. And it really helped break the ice, and make it like, okay, this is Club Med. You rented out the place for the week. Have fun. We're there. We're here for you. We're going to enjoy it and this is a big party. And that was one of the most fun weeks in Club Med. Really, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. There were the foam parties, and it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what I hear. Unfortunately I never got the chance to work with an Olivia or Atlantis, but yeah, that's what I hear. It's an amazing week. They close out the resort, and it's just Atlantis people that are there, right?
Yeah.
All right, now, sir, since you've been so kind with your time, what are I don't know if you think about this over the years, but what are the 3 things you miss the most about Club Med?
The people, basically I miss my friends, actually. I miss it was like a lot of those people that I still, thank God now we have internet and we keep in touch, and it's fun, and I hear from one from the other, and also throughout your wonderful podcast, and I hear where people are at, and get to connect with them. But just those people, it's just we're a big family. And for me, some of them, I remember at one point I was not feeling too good in Paris, leaving a message on Facebook, and I was going through a divorce and all, and it was bad. And I got so many positive messages from what I call my brothers, like people that I haven't seen for years, but they're there. They're like, hey, you come over, and you come over to my place, and we'll make it right, and whatever. And just amazing people. That's what I miss the most. I guess the traveling as well, and probably those moments in time. You always have them. I still have them today. Moments in time. I call them moments in time. You mentioned it in your podcast when you were sailing on the Red Sea, and yet you just have one. It's a moment. It's a moment. It's a capture of a moment in time. You can never repeat it. You can never do it again. You just gotta live and enjoy it. And it's like everything falls into place at that one particular moment, and it's just perfect. And those moments in time, some of them, a lot of them I had in Club Med, and it's just memorable with those amazing people I work with.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And as we said in your intro, you are still in hospitality and tourism. You're a hotel manager in Paris.
Yes.
That sounds pretty cool, no?
Yeah, it is. Well, I figured, what else am I going to do? I like people. I have a different approach. Well, you don't see it so much on the picture now, but I have like sort of long hair. I have a skull ring and bracelets and tattoos, and but I'm a different type of hotel manager because I use a lot of what I learned in Club Med, meaning in welcoming people and make them feel special and at home. I do that in my hotel, even though it's a four-star hotel, and people don't realize how important it is, especially after the COVID thing, where people didn't speak to other people for a year, they didn't see anybody for a year and a half, 2 years. And you know what? Now it's very important to talk with them and exchange with them and offer your difference and enrich yourself from other people's difference, and that's what I did when I was at Geo, and that's what I continue to do now. And that's one way I can find what I had in Club Med is through my contact with the people. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because I otherwise I'd be well, I'm still an artist. I still play music, and I teach drawing and painting to other people. But that's another part of me. But I mean, you got to earn a living, and might as well do it with people. I like people. I'm a people person.
I would say. And was there any point in your life where you thought you would ever own two chickens?
No, okay. You want to mention the chickens? All right.
Well,
all right. You want to go there? You want to go there?
I love chickens. I mean, I think it's so cool that I guess where you live is kind of reminds you of Club Med, or no? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I went through a divorce. Wasn't the right person. I met somebody else who's a musician. She's a pianist. She's wonderful. She's everything. And after 3 months together, we bought a house. We bought a house outside Paris, and it's a large house. It's an old farmhouse that's been renovated, sort of modern. It's from the 18th century. It's got a pool, a big pool in the backyard, and a jacuzzi, and I got 8 palm trees. It looks like Club Med. It's like a mini Columbus house. It's like my cocoon. It's like my mini Club Med. And we have a large garden as well. And in the garden, we decided for the kids to put like chickens. So yes, I have 2 chickens. I have a cat. I have a dog. I have a hamster, and we have fishes. We have a pond with fish as well in the garden. It's quite big. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome anytime you pop by Paris. You can stay with us.
Well, there's still pool games at 12 o'clock around your pool?
If you want, we'll do the pool volleyball.
Yeah, that one sounds good. Take a drink. Serve the ball, take a drink.
Yeah, I do have a big bar. I guess that's also leftover from Club Med. You know what I mean? Okay. I have a big bar, but I'm more of a whiskey person now. I used to do Jägermeister and and stuntmen for Boone.
Boone, yeah.
Thank you, Boone. Thank you, Boone, for the stuntmen.
Yes.
Tell you that much.
Where you never thought you would be putting tequila into your eyeball. Okay.
Yeah, no, I never thought of tequila as for that use. But yeah,
you think it goes into your mouth and it would not go anywhere else. But
oh yeah, but those like a Daddy-O's, it went everywhere. But I mean, in the eyes as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, Steve Tafan, before I let you go, am I forgetting to ask you anything? Like, because this has been pretty amazing, all your stories, but I don't want to let you go unless if I forgot to ask you something or something you want to say. Please tell me.
No, I just want to mention a few people, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Have time.
Please.
But there's a lot of them, so I'll go real fast. There's Pepe, Mexican Geo from Cancun, my brother. Jamie. There was Chris Lane, Boone, Red, Scott Smith. I met Sparrow, Jenner, Cheese. Julie Keeley, I'm going to forget a lot of people. Fithian, Joker, Barbara Bertanza as well. Vlad, famous Vlad. He was supposed to he was the one who was like giving me the permit for the sailing. Eduardo Rojas, Mike Myers, good friend, Maria Torres, Gonzo, Angel, Crystal, LP, Martin Gagné, painter, amazing set designer, Mike, famous Zorro. Patrick Burke, all these people that I work with, Philippe Pellan, and there's too many I'm going to forget.
No, I know you
can't. Valles, and all these people that they're part of my story. They're part of who I became, and they're part of my the ride. They were along for the ride. Kevin Lenneberg, John Oswald, Jim Donnelly, Gary Stevens, my brother from another mother, Greg as well, Giovanni, Lobo from Traffic, I remember. Hammer, of course. Hammer, I can never thank enough. Hammer, I know a lot of people mention him, but I don't think people realize how much of an impact he was and he still is on Club Med and in making it what it was and what it is. He's just he thinks differently. He's a different kind of breed. Love that guy. Philippe Cherlin, Philippe Pellant, of course, my brother. Ollie Hussein, God bless his soul. He passed away, but all these people you meet, and they're all part of your life. And for me, it's very, very important that if ever they come in Paris, they come and stay with me. All right.
Yeah. You sound like you have room. Yeah.
Yeah, I have room. I have a big house. I have a big house, but it's not paid for, mind you. It's not paid for. So I still got to work another 20 years to pay it. But it's comfortable. If ever these guys are around, they're like my brothers. And it's a funny thing about Clement. It's like you meet all these people, and you don't see them for 10 years, but the minute you'll see them again, it's like you never left. It's like they're still your brothers. And it's just a funny thing. And when I said I really miss the people, I really miss those people and other people that I didn't mention. But unfortunately, I can't name everybody in that that short period of time. But they just we have 42 friends in common. I think that just goes to show you.
Exactly.
And we met briefly. Briefly this season. So that it's just that's the way it goes. And each story is different, I guess. And mine's mine, and I assume it, and I my story made me who I am today, and I'm very proud, and I'm very glad for it, and I'm very glad for Club Med and what it's taught me, and what it's brought me that I still use today in my life, and I'm so thankful for that. And that's why I think your show is very, very important. It makes me realize that, and it made a lot of people. I see, like I mentioned to you, I think before. We'll talk about it, even though we're not supposed to. But you mentioned it before we got live. Is that the same season for another person? Listen to the podcast, and we lived it differently because it's different from one person to the other. It's just that's just the way it goes, and each story is different, and it's important to tell them.
Exactly. And thank you for sharing your story with us here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, everyone, I really hoped you liked this interview as much as I did. Special thanks to Steve Ouimet, and we'll see you all next week. Bye. Say bye, Steve.
See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you.